see if people can see this, because I'm trying to shadow it. So I tried doing sky and it didn't work in this one. This is a picture. It's going to be a parrot drinking some wine while standing on a sofa, and I'm still working through skies on that watercolor series. And this is the picture that I have so far. You remember I showed you before I colored it in. Well, I just had this sky, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to put a picture in there, probably of my nephew. I messed up the nails. If you look closely, the little half moon things at the bottom, I messed them up. But it's not too bad. I don't think I'm going to try to fix it.
Yeah, the cup looks pretty
Allyn.
good. Inspector Allyn.
Got top of the stack, and then Rewind got the bottom. And James's dinner is Mandarin pear waffle with almond butter, and a sandwich and some broccoli and cauliflower. And he didn't eat very much of this almond butter. I went through this whole container, and that's how I do it, eating almond butter on apples. And that container is 340 grams, it says, and a serving size is 15 grams. So you can do the math.
How much is in there? 145, you said?
340 grams.
Oh my
in there.
gosh.
And
so a
each
serving
is 15 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it's a little rich, you know. Like I probably eat way more than 130. But 15 goes in there 20 times, 23 times. Is that what it is?
So I ate a lot of servings of almond butter in one day. But I eat them with apples, so I don't find my heart is hurting or anything like that.
Okay. I think you find it's a little bit acidic, you know, like almonds, I think, about the only nut that are, what are they, acid ash? And I think acid ash tends to be a little bit, well, actually, fruits are alkali ash. They'd probably balance themselves. Sorry.
But no regrets, delicious. So yeah, like I said, still working my way through the skies. I'll have to redo this sky lesson again, because I'm going to have to try to fix that sky with soft pastels or something, because that's not a sky. That's just a mess.
Okay.
You see,
it looks like a curtain gone mad or something like that.
I really have no explanation for that. I made a mess of this middle part, and I thought, okay, well, what if I try that cloud lifting technique? Well, that didn't work. And so I tried a bunch of things with that, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and finally I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a soft pastel. This is going to be a mixed media picture, because I can't do anything with that. I really made a mess of it.
Watercolors are really fussy.
Yeah, it's a less is more medium, that's for sure.
Something about that. I never liked it when I was a kid.
I don't know.
Yeah, I found it really frustrating. I think I find it much
I don't know if you're
now.
supposed to say mixed medium or mixed media, because I mean the media would be plural.
Yep.
But, okay.
You'd say media. They're mixed up together.
Okay.
It's media, but I don't care. Say mixed media.
Okay.
We're not, Latin
did
is
I
a
ever
dead
mess that
language,
up?
and it should be left that way, you know.
Yeah, it's mixed media for sure, because I mixed it.
Mixed mediums. Let's say that. Like I say, Latin's a dead
But
language.
the other one,
don't revive it.
The other one's looking good. So I had some successes today and some very strong failure. Well, one thing, the red that I put on, I was trying to mix up a nice color of red like that, and I think I mixed a good color, a good shade of red, and then and it's not so stripy, so that's all right. Hey, I'll take whatever works, you know. doesn't all have to work. I'm fine with that, because all of these pictures I'm just playing around. I mean, honestly, with art, isn't that what you're doing all the time? It's not like I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be hanging up right beside the Mona Lisa one day. No, I realize that. I'm just having fun. And I'm learning. So whatever. That's
what life should be
Yeah.
about.
learning and having fun.
It shouldn't be about consumption. You know how restaurateurs were complaining about going out of business? We might still be having a certain plague, or a couple of them. New record this month or something like that in Canada for using restaurants.
Oh wow.
And people are complaining about inflation. It's not hitting you hard, you stupid idiots. It's only
Yeah,
3
you
point
wouldn't
something.
be going to the restaurant.
No,
if
you
it-
wouldn't be.
If it was really
If it were
hard
really
on you.
biting at you, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I paid $3.50 roughly for that container on sale of the almond butter. And the apples I bought, what was the 8-pound bag for $5, I think, or $6. Like it's very cheap. So that's a great healthy snack. You don't have to go out to a restaurant. It's and if you want to make waffles, some healthy kind of waffles like I make James, well, just one Sunday morning, just make way more waffles than you normally would and put them in the freezer, and then you have lots of waffles go. I'm gonna have to stop doing art for a little while because I'm really hurting my knees. It's because I put this up against I put my knees up and I put that up on, and it blocks my circulation. It's not good, and so I'm
It's especially bad for Pauline because I don't think she has good circulation.
No, I have very bad circulation.
But it's
so
going
it
to
doesn't
affect
take
everyone once they get
long.
past, I don't know, age 25. Make sure you don't wear binding pants. That includes tights for women. Like if you want to go out dancing or something like that.
But I'm just having so much fun with the art, and I'm learning a lot, which, I mean, you can't see from that sky. But it's all about the practice, right?
Yeah.
And trying new things, and this, it went so horribly wrong. Anyway.
So just more clues for knee health. Don't sleep on your stomach because you're going to be sleeping on your knees, cutting off circulation. When you're lying on your back, try not to have your knees.
Oh, your feet up. Yeah, you don't want that because you
Don't
don't
overextend your knees, or even with them flat.
Boy,
it's best
we
to
found out
lie
so
on your
many
side.
things about what not to do to. Yeah, it's
When you're
Got a lot of
sleeping on
pain
your
with
side,
this.
and that's the way you should sleep. Make sure stuff isn't bunched under you, like bedding isn't bunched up under your knees. That'll cut off circulation. Try to lift the bedding off. Try to have something that's really covers you, and just leave it loose over here. Don't have it right up against your knee. And if you do that, like the worst my knees ever were was when I was about age 30. Because, like I was sitting, reading, and with my knees kind of locked. One other thing is hit the washroom. Like, don't be always tense, holding on, tensing up. Because especially if you got your legs out straight like that, you're going to lock your knees up. And it contributes to it.
My knee's been popping out.
That's bad.
Really not good. It's hurting. But it's kind of scary when you're walking and it pops out too. It's not fun.
Oh,
Anyway.
it's horrible. Of course, you can imagine what it's like when you're playing something like soccer.
Yeah,
And that's what,
I can't.
some idiot manager kind of slid tackled me and popped the knee out. But it lasted for less than a week. I was able to rehabilitate it. It was a problem because I was a janitor then. manager, what did he care?
Yeah,
Sit
he's
at a
going to be
desk?
sitting at a desk for the week.
So-
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, doctors don't realize it. You go into a doctor's office and you have some problems. Well, if you're working a job where you're a laborer,
Yeah.
that's and a doctor tells you something like, "Oh, yeah, you got to find a new job." Well, how would a doctor? You go find a new job.
You're incompetent,
You
doctor.
know?
You go find a new job because you are incompetent.
The people who are doing labor job, their bodies need to be working. You can't just say, "Oh, well, yeah, patient, go on
Go find another job.
yeah."
where you
And I don't want to
use
have
your
to
body.
treat you. We're not going to treat you with our medical system. So just go find a new job.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work. Anyway, Inspector Allyn. This was a great mystery. I didn't solve it.
That's
There
unusual.
were so many people that they had motive, right? They didn't like the guy, and there was a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, I don't think that there was enough. One thing I didn't like about it is when you have a mystery, you have to actually be sneaky about how you show things, and they weren't. They were like, "Oh, the glass is empty, and here it is, dirty glass on the," and they focus in on it and stuff like that. And it's like it could be done very simply. The nurse could be emptying out the flower vase of water, and she doesn't have to empty out the cup. And you're watching her do things, right? Getting the room tidied up, but she doesn't have to empty the cup because it's already empty, and then she just puts it to go get washed or whatever. Puts it upside down on the tray that she takes away, whatever. Something that in the background, like you have people talking in the foreground or whatever, and here she's working away in the background, and you can see that you have to give, when you're writing a mystery, you have to give the audience, the viewer, the opportunity to solve the mystery. So it has to be there. The clues have to be there for the, so that at the end of it all, the viewer thinks back and they're like, "Oh, I remember seeing it," right? And then the viewer is extremely satisfied, because even if especially actually, if they haven't solved the mystery and then they are thinking back and they're like, "I should have solved it because I do remember seeing that." But there wasn't enough of that. They were showing things that were obvious, but they weren't giving enough reason for me to actually think who did it. That's all. That's the only real complaint I have about this. Also, the lighting and sound wasn't great, but it's an older thing. This is from, I don't know, 2004 maybe?
Okay. Was it made in New Zealand or?
Well, it's BBC,
England? Oh,
so
yeah, it's probably
England.
So yeah, Nio Marsh. I think that's the way you pronounce the name of the person who wrote the thing on which that's based.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
It comes from New Zealand. I don't know if it's a Maori name, the first name.
Well, that is an interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't usually see an N and a G right beside each other.
No, you can say it. It probably means
Bunch of vowels at the end.
Nio, that sort of thing.
Mm.
The woman who teaches me at university, she's from Holland, and she says, "My name is Inga, not Inga." Inga. So that's a separate sound.
Mm.
Mm. It's different from NG. That's two sounds put together.
Mm.
So I think it might be that. Nio Marsh. And you're saying, you're not saying anything, but we're not trained to hear that sound
Yeah.
as being separate. Like ring. You're not saying ring.
Yeah.
It's a different sound.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we say finger, finger, it's kind of like and g. We don't really say finger. So that's two sounds, but we think, oh, that's an energy. It's not. It's a and a g. If I got it right, finger. So languages are kind of complicated and all that sort of stuff, and maybe I shouldn't have strayed into that. But
No, that's great you did.
I've read one novel by that person.
Oh, you did?
And I remember it. It was like the title, and I remember it. There's a lot of mystery stories that, okay. But it was called Dyed in the Wool. I'm not going to say it's a pun.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, it starts. The corpse is found in a bale of wool or something like
Okay.
that. Okay, so that's not giving it away. I can't even remember who done it, but it was. I think the person kind of came up with a pun, and then went from there. But I don't even know if it's. I assume that if someone's a successful and relatively interesting mystery writer, it's a woman.
Mm.
And but I couldn't tell you from that name. I don't know if considered masculine or feminine, or it could be both.
Yeah.
At any rate, I kind of had this impression when I was young. There were 4 big mystery writers. Of course, the big one was Agatha Christie, and then after was maybe Dorothy L. Sayers or Marjorie Allyn, and Ngaio Marsh was 4th. But I don't know. Nowadays, it's people like Sue Grafton and. Sue Grafton, it's I can't name it.
Very popular.
She's hugely popular. It's, what she did is the Hardy Boy thing. The Hardy Boys. Oh, and Nancy Drew things. The Bobbsey twins are probably the same way. Tune in next time. But it wasn't quite like that. But they had tried. The first in the series is a Tower Treasure mystery. They always mentioned that every one of the things. They'd just solved this mystery, they'd solved that, and then they'd solved a recent mystery, and then, they had trouble with this mystery when they solved it up after 218 pages. Then they graduated to 170 some pages, and then eventually it was something like 100, maybe 30 some pages and stuff like that. They never underestimated the ignorance of the oncoming generations when it came to reading. And they'd always say, tune in next time. This was a tough one, but their next mystery was going to be even tougher. There's something, they're kind of doing that. Anyway.
All right.
Thanks for letting me contribute to that. That guy looks Irish, or his name looks Irish. Malahide is Irish.
I should say what the mystery was called is The Nursing Home Murder.
Yikes. Well, that's a little bit close to home, because I had a dad who died. My only dad.
That would be manslaughter.
That was manslaughter.
That's never gonna... Nobody's gonna be charged with that one. Anyway.
And there are lots of guilty parties. Anyway.
Yep. Rewind. It's 2019. It's not what I expected it would be, and honestly, I can't imagine anybody would want to watch this. It's about a man and his sister who were. It's a documentary that they made about how they were molested, and I guess the boy, when he was a boy, he really got into taking a lot of videos. He liked taking videos, so he has a lot of footage of him recorded, and he was really messed up as a boy, and anyway, and this is about him trying to
get straight,
deal with it after the fact, and and I guess this had been going on. It had been going on through the family for a while, so it wasn't just him and his sister. His dad, once his dad found out about it, his dad was like, "Oh, I know it's true because it happened to me," so so he knew. And once, he didn't know while it was happening, but honestly, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you suspect? If it happened to you, and then why would you have those, like at one point I think it was the boy was talking, or well, the man was talking about how when he was a boy, he heard his mother, "How could you let him near our children?" Da 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 da. You know, and
Was it a relative then?
Yeah.
Like a granddad?
and the thing is yeah, how could you? Because honestly, like I remember on the farm, it wasn't a very big community, and in you know, a farming community, a little town and farms around it. You know everyone, really. Well, if you're an adult. If you're a kid, you don't know anyone. You know your parents and your
Yeah,
like I didn't know.
like a mystery when you're a kid.
Yeah, but
Seems
I
so
mean there
complicated.
was one we knew. There was one guy. My dad wanted. He was a good Christian. He wanted to. Be nice to everyone, right? So there was this guy that everybody talked about him, and eventually my dad was like, "Yeah, you get out of here." He couldn't. He knew that it wasn't just rumor. Everybody knew about him, and everybody knew it was true. And my dad knew it was true eventually, and he didn't want that guy anywhere near us. So eventually, I think the guy was charged. He ended up molesting a really little kid that somebody let him babysit. And
Wow.
and when I heard about it, I was like, who would have let him babysit? Honestly, because everybody knew. Everybody knew. So anyway. Gotta protect
So this
your little ones.
has actual real videos?
Well, it doesn't have videos of him being molested.
No.
I should
but
point
what
that
I mean,
out.
Like when
Yeah,
he was a kid.
when he was a kid, being all messed up and stuff,
Yeah.
and like his artwork and stuff like that he was
Okay.
doing. So, but still, it's I can't imagine anybody would want to watch this.
It would be kind of gruesome.
I don't, and honestly boring.
Okay.
It's I know it happens, and you're like, how can that be boring? Oh, well, I don't. Anyway.
Well, in some ways, mafia stuff is boring. It happens, and it doesn't seem much you can do about it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. No.